Okay, good morning, everybody. Would you please stand and let's sing together, Let It Be a Dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed, and let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin, turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like a willow with the wind, let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by, and let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning star comes out at night. Without the dark, there is no light. If nothing's wrong, then nothing's right. So let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Now let the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. And round we go again. So let it be a dance.
Thank you. Wonderful start to our service. Good morning, everyone. Great to have all of you here. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spokane, where we join together to create a nourishing, liberal religious home and to champion justice, diversity, and environmental stewardship in our wider world. Or as we like to say in short, to create community, find meaning, and work for justice. I want to also welcome each and every one of you to this space. All that makes you who you are, all of your unique beliefs and background and lifestyle and differences and everything that helps make you who you are is welcome here today. That includes those of you who are in the room with us, as well as the many of you who are live streaming with us today. So great to have all of you too. By the way, those who are live streaming with us, I don't know what it is, but this one section that's the only section you can see is the only section where nobody's sitting. So that's okay. You can go over there and fill it in. No, you get to see. We want the folks that have the back of your heads, the loveliest back of the heads, to be best. So, look at you. Thank you. Hey, there we go. That's very nice of you. Thank you. I used to get that during COVID. It was just, I think Todd and I were the only ones in here. Right, Todd? Two Todds during COVID. And we were doing the live stream, and the place was empty, and people used to come and say, can't you fix it so those cameras don't show the empty room? I said, but the room's empty. It's COVID. Okay, anyway, enough of that. Okay, I don't have anything to actually say. No announcements this morning. So would you guys like to take, now that you're all comfortable, would you like to get up and say hi to each other? Do that. Okay, thank you all for that. Sorry to interrupt, but as always, there's more opportunity to visit following our service during our social hour. You'll find, for those who are visiting, there's coffee and tea behind that wall there, and I think are there still some cookies and whatnot? Plenty of cookies and brownies. Okay, so you got to help us eat those today, okay? So they won't last. Great. All right. So where are we doing? We're lighting our chalice? Yes, we want to get back to our service by lighting our chalice, one of our important rituals here, because this is the symbol, as you hear me say each Sunday, of our unity and our solidarity, of our openness and our inclusion, our community and our individual uniqueness. May this small flame be our offering of warmth to those who are cold and alone, and a light to those in darkness. May it be a flame that ignites justice in our world and a beacon of hope to those in need. And may it reflect at least a spark of truth wherever truth has been lost, and cast a healthy shadow of doubt wherever it's been found.
Our opening reflection is adapted from a poem which appears in my book, which was just recently published, Paper Boat. It is one aspect of letting go, which is the theme of Todd's sermon today. Letting go. The petals of a bud must let go and release themselves into blossom, just as we humans must release ourselves from our own self-induced restraints, letting go into self-forgiveness and awareness. To begin once again, we must let go of the held breath and the fears of ambiguity. We must befriend uncertainty.
Okay, please stand. We're going to sing We Shall Overcome.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we'll walk hand in hand someday. And we shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall live in peace someday. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
Thank you. That's a beautiful and appropriate song to sing on the eve of the Dr. King holiday, but I'm, as I said during the first service, it's somewhat troublesome that after more than half a century since Dr. King walked this earth, we're still having to sing that song. Still hoping someday that that's going to happen. And I still believe it will, but gosh, things seem difficult right now, don't they? This is our period in which we kindle our candles of care for those who are most on our hearts and minds, and for far too long now, we begin each Sunday by kindling a candle on behalf of the people around the world that are suffering from war and violence, the people of Ukraine and Russia and Israel and Palestine people, Iran now, people in Darfur and South Sudan, people in our own country, immigrants, whether they're here legally or not, and now ordinary Americans having their homes invaded and having to face a militant government that is sending troops into our cities, calling us terrorists for protesting that kind of illiberal, undemocratic, un-American behavior. So we've got a long way to go. Let's take our usual moment of silence on behalf of those that you might be thinking of, and as always, you're welcome to name them aloud at this time if you'd like. Those named aloud and those embraced in our silence, and all those who are suffering in our world at this hour, we hold in our community with compassion. This is our third Sunday in which we usually take up a special collection on behalf of an organization that we are in alignment with. And this Sunday's special collection is on behalf of NAMI of Spokane, National Association for Mental Illness. This is an organization we have contributed to a lot over the years, and they do an awful lot in our community to help people that are suffering from some sort of mental illness or other crisis. They have programs that support, that offer community resources, I should say. There's guidance, there's support, there's connections for individuals that might otherwise feel disconnected from the world. And of course, they have services around behavioral health treatment, housing, social services, legal services, substance abuse, advocacy. So this is an organization that really does a lot. And the majority of the people that work there and volunteer there are people that have gone through the mental illness themselves or are going through it and living with it. And so these are folks that really know exactly what they're doing and know what it's like to be there or have been there, and can most help folks from that perspective. So if you want to give, please use the special collection envelope that came in your order of service. You don't have to seal it. We'll recycle it if it's reusable, but no worries if it's not. So thank you so much for your generosity. And we now gratefully give and receive this morning's offering, which helps sustain this community and our mission to the larger world.
just incredible. Like, just incredible. Welcome. It is the third Sunday of the month, which means it's Reading Across the Lifespan Day, particularly in RE, but for all of us. So I'd like to welcome any child or young at heart person who wants to come forward if you want to, but we are going to head back out after my story to go to RE and choose some books. If you're new to us, Reading Across the Lifespan is a program we started a little over a year ago where our kiddos choose a book and take it home and are working on building their home libraries. And I am going to share a story today that I wrote a few days ago, and I didn't realize until after I wrote it and was reading it again that it is a little bit autobiographical, but not necessarily with the main character who is 8 years old, but all of the well-meaning adults too in this story. So have a good listen and see if you recognize yourself in any of these. Also, if you'd like to support Reading Across the Lifespan, we do have some bookmarks on sale in the back. And we would just love any donation, and all of those funds would go to purchase books, new and used books for the kiddos in our RE program. Okay, so here we go. There once was a girl named Clara who was 8 years old, almost 9, and she was very good at paying attention. She paid attention in school. She paid attention when adults talked. She paid attention to the things her friends said. She paid attention to her parents. She paid attention to the rules and instructions, and especially to things people said she should do. Clara liked doing the right thing. She lined up her shoes by the door. She made her bed in the morning. She closed the drawers and the cabinet doors that she opened. She remembered to say please and thank you. She even mostly did her daily chores without having to be reminded. When Clara wasn't busy with such matters of consequence, she really liked to read books. At least she thought she did. The trouble was, Clara was surrounded by people who cared very much about what she read. Her favorite teacher leaned down one day and said, "You're an advanced reader, Clara. You really should choose books in the 800 Lexile range to offer you the right challenge for comprehension and skill growth in speed and accuracy." Clara nodded. Her loving grandmother smiled and handed her a beautiful classic and said, "This was my favorite when I was your age. You really should read it too." Clara nodded. At church, someone knelt beside her and whispered kindly, "Be careful about reading what you shouldn't. You really should read books that teach you important lessons." Clara nodded. At the library, a well-meaning grown-up glanced at her pile and said, "Oh, you don't want that one. You really should try this instead." Clara nodded. She always nodded. She carried her books carefully. She stacked them neatly. She even opened them each night and turned a few pages. But something strange was happening. The more people told Clara what she should read, the harder it was to feel excited about reading at all. She wasn't rebellious. She wasn't being stubborn. She was trying very hard to be good. Still, when she lay in bed at night, surrounded by books chosen by everyone else, her eyes drifted to the corner of the room where one small dog-eared book waited quietly on the shelf, the one no one had suggested, the one no one had noticed, the one she hadn't been told she really should read. Clara knew exactly which book it was. She had found it months ago, almost by accident, at the library. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't on a display table. No one had recommended it. But when Clara picked it up, Something small and warm had stirred inside her chest. She hadn't known what to call that feeling at the time, so she had put the book back on the shelf. Now, lying in bed, she felt that same warm flutter again. It wasn't a loud voice. It didn't say award-winning or bestseller or classic. It didn't say important or challenging or good for you. It didn't say should. It was a quiet voice, a curious voice. It simply asked, what happens next? Clara slipped out of bed and reached for the dog-eared book. She told herself she would read just one page, just to see. But one page became two, and two became a chapter. And before she knew it, Clara was no longer thinking about reading at all. She was inside the story. The room disappeared. The list of rules disappeared. Even the word should disappeared. For the first time in a long while, reading didn't feel like something she was trying to do correctly. She wasn't doing it for a score or to impress someone or because someone else said, you really should. It felt like something she was doing happily. The next morning, Clara packed her backpack carefully. She still carried the books everyone had given her. She still listened politely. She still nodded. But tucked between the others was a small dog-eared book. Clara didn't explain. She didn't argue. She didn't make a speech. She didn't need to, because Clara had learned something important, something no one told her. She had learned that her own quiet voice mattered, that curiosity could be trusted, and that choosing for herself didn't have to mean choosing perfectly. There are many good books in the world and many good reasons to read, but the book that turns you into a reader is the one you choose by listening to what makes you curious. Sometimes that choice leads to a favorite, sometimes it doesn't, and even then, you've learned something important. All right, please sing us out. I'm going to sing us out.
It is now time for meditation. I invite you to find a comfortable, relaxed posture. Take a few deep breaths. Close your eyes if you wish, and we'll enter the silence with these words from poet Linda Paston. Interlude. We are waiting for snow, the way we might wait for a train to arrive with its cold cargo. It is late already, but surely it will come. We are waiting for snow the way we might wait for permission to breathe again. For only the snow will release us. Only the snow will be a letting go, a blind falling towards the body of earth and towards each other. And while we wait at this window, whose sheer transparency is clouded already with our mutual breath, it is as if our whole lives depended on the freezing color of the sky, on the white, soon-to-be fractured gaze of winter.
Don't lose your way with each passing day. You've come so far, don't throw it away. Live believing, dreams are for weaving, wonders are waiting to start. Live your story, faith, hope, and glory. Hold to the truth in your heart. If we hold on together, I know our dreams will never die. Dreams see us through to forever, where clouds roll by. For you and I, souls in the wind must learn how to bend. Seek out a star, hold on in the end. Valley, mountain, there is a fountain. Wonders are washers away. Words are swaying, someone is praying. Please let us come home to stay. If we hold on together, well, I know our dreams will never die. Dreams see us through to forever, where clouds roll by. For you and I, when we are out there in the dark, we'll dream about the sun. In the dark, we'll feel the light warm our hearts, everyone. So if we hold on together, I know our dreams will never die. 'Cause dreams see us through to forever, as high as souls can fly. The clouds roll by for you and I.
Oh, you are a tough act to follow. Thank you for that. Among the most valuable lessons that I learned during my ministerial training is the importance of being a non-anxious presence, especially when I'm with those facing dire circumstances, like a devastating accident, a fatal diagnosis, a sudden and unexpected death of a loved one. Our instinct is to try saying or doing something helpful. But under such circumstances, there's nothing that we can do or say to make the trauma of the moment go away. And attempts to do so only make matters worse. They're in a better place now. This too shall pass. The Lord works in mysterious ways. These can feel like daggers to those who are in the throes of loss and grief. Well-meaning as our intentions might be, what we're really telling them is that we don't want them to feel sad or angry or hurt or whatever difficult emotions they're having. Telling a person diagnosed with a terminal condition, for example, that they ought to remain positive and hopeful is not helpful. If we're not honest with them about what's really happening, about what they know is really happening, then it means they have to go through it alone, which makes the dying all the worse. It's better just to say, I'm sorry, and I can't imagine what you're going through. These statements are honest, and they express what we are feeling without judgment or denial about what the aggrieved are experiencing. It's about them after all, not me, not my discomfort, not my pointless wish to make their pain go away. Whatever else might be true, the pain is real and it's overwhelming, and they have to go through it for as long as it takes. Understanding this is key to being a non-anxious presence. Knowing that we have entered into a traumatic and tragic situation and that there is nothing that we can do or say to make it better. Yet as friends, as family, as a minister, we must and want to be there for those that are going through some of the worst circumstances of their lives. But in doing so, we knowingly enter into a space where we are helpless and vulnerable, becoming what feels like a pointless lump on a log. To be the non-anxious presence that we need to be, however, means accepting that we are helpless and we must resist the urge to do something to ease their pain. It is only then that our presence, paradoxically, becomes meaningful and helpful. A steady, quiet presence who is there if needed, there to listen, there to bear witness to the pain and grief that others are experiencing, showing them that they are not alone, while having said little more than, I'm sorry, I can't imagine what you're going through. I'm even hesitant to say that I'm here if you need me, or let me know if there's anything that I can do, which again suggests that I have the ability to make things better, and it puts the burden on them to reach out to me. That is to make me feel useful and therefore better. But again, it's not about me. A 39-year-old suffers a fatal heart attack. A father and his 2 children are killed by a drunk driver. A man my age is given only months to live after being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. A woman feeling a little off soon discovers that she'll be dead within weeks. A child drowns. A teenager commits suicide. Another is killed on a motorcycle. A 6-month-old baby falls off the bed and breaks its neck. These are some of the worst circumstances that I've been present for as a minister. And though they were never about me, there is a cumulative impact of being in the midst of such pain and grief that lingers with me. It shapes me. It becomes part of my life experience. As a minister, I've also tried to remain a non-anxious presence for our congregation as a whole. Talk about cumulative impacts. There were 14 deaths in our church during my first year here, 2 my first week as your minister. They were due to age, in some cases, illnesses, accidents. It's felt similar just these past couple of years, as so many of our matriarchs and patriarchs have left us, sometimes only within days or weeks apart. And that much death takes a terrible toll on our community. We faced other difficulties together: the election of Donald Trump in 2016, a major church conflict in 2019, and the return of Trump in 2024. And through it all, I've worked to remain a non-anxious presence, even though inwardly I have felt much anxiety over these events, as much as anyone else, more in some cases. The secret to this, as the saying goes, is to accept the things I cannot change. I cannot heal the sick, I cannot raise the dead, I cannot go back in time and prevent tragedies, nor can I fix the emotions of others, even though this isn't as obvious to us as our inability to perform miracles and go back in time. A lot of us think we can fix the emotions of others. So in addition to accepting the things I cannot change, we must face the circumstances and challenges before us. We cannot change who the president is, no matter how much we disagree with his actions or policies, nor how much they are impacting our lives and the lives of others. We cannot force the Congress, the Senate, the Supreme Court to uphold the Constitution that they are sworn to defend. We cannot avoid the chaos that this administration is causing in our country and around the world. We cannot know when or even if it will end, nor what damage will be in the aftermath of this socio-political storm we find ourselves in. Yet this is the collective trauma of our time, especially as liberals, as it feels as if our democracy itself has been in a terrible accident, is now in critical condition, and we don't know if it will live or die. Many of us are in shock, fearful of the worst, and already grieving the loss of the society that we once believed would always be with us. My advice is, again, to let those feelings be. Lean into them. They will come and go, and they will come and go again and again. Trying to control our feelings is like standing on the ocean shore and trying not to get wet. The waves move in and out of their own accord. They wash over us, overwhelm us. They recede in time before returning again. Better to accept them knowing only that they will eventually subside with the changing of the tide. Among the most surprising emotions for those in grief are the waves of joy and laughter that sometimes come in the midst of terrible circumstances, or sometimes having no feelings at all, feeling as if everything is entirely normal. And this confusing sensation can compound the situation with additional feelings of guilt. How can I feel happy? How can I feel nothing at all at a time like this? The same is true for us as a society, especially again for the liberal-minded who greatly value the principles upon which our democracy is founded, in perfect a union as it has always been. For much of the time since first announcing his candidacy in 2015, Donald Trump has been the main headline in our lives, almost daily. It's as if we've been stuck in an unending reality show whose star is working to create as much upheaval, suffering, and chaos as possible. After 11 years of it, we're extremely fatigued by the barrage of daily disturbing headlines. We can try avoiding them for a while, but we can't really escape the reality that we're in. Eventually, we have to face what's happening. We have to acknowledge this isn't just a show. When we do, when we are better able to allow the difficult emotions to come and go, while also continuing to live and to do what we must, sometimes feeling like everything is completely normal. Again, we can't control which emotions come over us, nor do much to change the reality that we're in. But we can control our response to those emotions and how we react to our circumstances. Anger doesn't mean that we have to lash out at others. Grief doesn't mean we have to disappear into depression. Facing reality doesn't mean that we have to simply accept the way things are, that we can't make things better. We can control our attitude to some extent. We can control our actions and our reactions regardless of what we're feeling. We can do what we can to support our loved ones and our friends and to serve the grander purposes of our community, society, and of life itself. Rather than protesting against what we dislike, we can demonstrate those values that we do believe in. When someone loses control, we might want to tell them to get a grip. We sometimes do. What I'm saying here is that to get a grip, we need to let go. But letting go does not mean giving up. Quite the opposite. It means facing what is before us, going through it, standing strong, and moving forward as best we can. The American bison, often called buffalo, are a magnificent example. These powerful creatures with enormous heads and broad shoulders have bodies, if you've ever noticed, that almost taper off into nothing compared to all that size and all that force up front. It's as if they were built only to face life head on. In fact, it's well known that instead of turning away from storms, especially powerful blizzards, buffalo head directly into them, knowing that by doing so, they're going to get through them a lot faster than trying to avoid them. This again is what it means to be a non-anxious presence, accepting the things that we cannot change and facing the circumstances, the challenges, the realities that we're in. This practice of getting a grip by letting go, of moving into the storm instead of away from it, of facing reality and accepting what we cannot change, is also central to most of humanity's religions. Among Judaism's 10 Commandments, for example, is the command to remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, your son or your daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your animals, nor the foreigner residing in your town. And the Hebrew word Sabbat simply means to rest. Everybody, everything, every creature needs to rest. This is holy, this is sacred. In February, I'll be taking a month-long sabbatical, which obviously comes from this very word, Sabbat. Some have asked me, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? I'm not going anywhere, and I'm doing nothing. Because that's what a sabbatical is for. Which is why I prefer to rest, like the earth itself at that time, in the coldness and darkness of the months. In Taoism, Wu Wei, which means doing nothing, is similar to Sabbat, sitting quietly, doing nothing. Spring comes and the grass grows by itself, an old Chinese proverb goes. In fact, the Chinese pictograph for busy is symbolized by two characters meaning heart and killing. Busy is heart killing. But practice not doing, practice Wu Wei, and everything will fall into place, the Tao Te Ching tells us. Fill your bowl to the brim and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife and it will blunt. Tao never acts, yet nothing is left undone. The Christian idea of grace is another example of this principle. The notion that there's nothing that we can do or need to do to be saved. Look at the birds of the air, Jesus is reported to have said. Consider the lilies of the field. The birds do not sow, harvest, or store away, yet they are fed. The flowers do not toil or spin, yet they are clothed. Yet even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. There are other examples, including ancient myths about the necessity of winter, those cold, dark months, when even the earth rests and our need to rest along with her. But I most prefer the way the principle is treated by the Stoic philosophers. The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus began his handbook with a simple sentence. Of all existing things, some are in our power and others are not in our power. This seemingly simple statement is what is referred to as the dichotomy of control, which may seem obvious, but what isn't obvious is knowing the difference between what is within our power and what is not within our power. Acknowledging this dichotomy then requires us to try to distinguish the difference, because too often we tend to obsess about the things that we can't change and ignore the things that we can. This is a significant point because it can mean the difference between being an anxious or a non-anxious presence, not only in the lives of others, but in our own lives. It doesn't make a lot of sense worrying about matters that we can't do anything about, especially when such worry detracts us from changing the things we can, addressing the things we can. I'm sure you're familiar, maybe you don't realize it or not, it was Loren Eiseley's famous anecdote from his 1969 essay, The Star Thrower. You probably heard this, I'm sure. An old man is walking on the beach when he notices a boy throwing washed-up starfish back into the sea before they get dried up by the hot sun. But the beach goes on for miles and miles, he tells the child. There are thousands of starfish here. You'll never be able to make a difference. I made a difference to that one, the child says. If we only notice all that overwhelms us and is out of our control, then we miss our opportunities to make a difference when we can and where we can. We all know, of course, the Serenity Prayer attributed to theologian Richard Niebuhr. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This is a favorite saying in AA. and among the Stoics because it addresses the dichotomy of control that all of us must face. But the real trick, again, is knowing the difference. The old man on the beach doesn't understand that not having the power to save all the starfish on the beach doesn't prevent him from saving some. The boy, on the other hand, only sees what he can do. The thought of saving all the starfish never crosses his mind because that's not in his power to begin with. It's not a factor. Contemporary Stoic philosopher William Irvine compounds the problem by reminding us that it's not really just a dichotomy of control, it's a trichotomy of control. For, as he says, there are things over which we have complete control, things over which we have no control at all, and things over which we have some but not complete control. We have no control over who wins an election. We have complete control over who we vote for. So there's no sense worrying about either of those. No sense worrying about the things we have no control over, nor the things we have complete control over. Let go of what we can't control and do what we are able. What we ought to most concentrate on, our energy on rather, are those matters that we have some but not complete control over. Again, we cannot control who gets elected, but we can volunteer for a particular candidate or participate in public awareness or get out the vote campaigns. The goal of the Stoics, Irvine says, was not to change the world, but to do their best to change the world. And I'm going to compound Epictetus's original dichotomy and the trichotomy, Irvine's trichotomy of control, by further adding a fourth component. There are some things in our power to control that we should not control. Namely, the emotions and the thoughts and the decisions of others. And this is to say that we should not force our wills upon other people. Why? Because from our humanistic position as liberals, it's unethical, using others as a means to our ends, rather than respecting their freedom and their autonomy as individuals, and to have the right to choose their own ends and their own purposes is unethical. And this goes back to where we began, being a non-anxious presence. If we respect others, we have no need to change or control their emotions, nor to prevent them from facing the storm that they must walk through. What is within our power, and thus in our arena of responsibility, is to simply be present with them, even if it is only to bear witness to what they are going through so that they know they are not alone. To be a non-anxious presence in an anxious world is not to be passive and indifferent. It is to stand steady in the storm, neither denying its power nor being overpowered by it. It is to face what is real, to do what we can, and to let the rest go. And I will now give Finley the floor. Thank you. Finley, come here, baby. Come here. Come here.
Finley, you can come sing. You want to come sing, Finley? Come sing. He'll want to in just a moment, huh? Okay, we are going to do our last hymnal, Let's Go Fly a Kite, in light of the sermon of letting go, right? So, here we go. With tuppence for paper and strings, you can have your own set of wings. With your feet on the ground, you're a bird in a flight. With your fist holding tight to the string of your kite. Oh, let's go fly a kite up to the highest height. Let's go fly a kite and send it soaring up through the atmosphere, up where the air is clear. Oh, let's go fly a kite. When you send it flying up there, all at once you're lighter than air. You can dance on a breeze over houses and trees, with your fist holding tight to the string of your kite. Oh, let's go fly a kite up to the highest height. Let's go fly a kite and send it soaring up through the atmosphere, up where the air is clear. Oh, let's go fly a kite.
Our benediction today is from Harold Laux. An act of love that fails is just as much a part of the divine life as an act of love that succeeds. For love is measured by its own fullness, not by its reception. Amen, blessed be, salam aleikum, and shalom.